It's time to certify, develop, connect, and advocate. So let's talk small business with the Georgia Minority Supplier Development Council and your host, Stacy Key.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Let's Talk Small Business, the talk show that's dedicated to small business owners and entrepreneurs. I'm Stacy Key, the president and CEO of the Georgia Minority Supplier Development Council, known as your GMSDC, one of Georgia's leading small business development organizations. In this edition of Let's Talk Small Business, we're continuing our focus on Energy Efficiency Month. And with me today, we're very fortunate to have Eric Arnold of Georgia Power and Holly Spears of SEAL. They're going to be talking about Energy Efficiency Month with me. They're going to be talking about some tips and techniques for small businesses. And they're going to bring some suggestions, some ideas, and some innovative approaches to Energy Efficiency Month. And so we'll be right back after our break, and we're going to talk with Holly and with Eric. So stay tuned.
If every marching band play my song and every choir sing along, then maybe we can change the world.
Let's Talk Small Business is brought to you by Georgia Power, the Coca-Cola Company, and AT&T.
Take a stand, yeah, then maybe we can change the world.
Georgia Power is always working to make the connection with our customers even stronger. With innovative solutions to make your life easier, thousands of places to pay your bill. Find rate plans that fit your lifestyle. Get questions answered in person or on social media. Even purchase energy-efficient products online. Now more than ever, there are so many new ways to connect to Georgia Power. Learn more at georgiapower.com.
So I'm back with Eric Arnold of Georgia Power and Holly Spears of SEAL. And so thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
And so, as you know, it's Energy Efficiency Month, and we've been with our partner, Georgia Power, throughout the month talking about tips and techniques and great innovative ideas to help our small businesses grow and learn more about Energy Efficiency Month. So as we kick off and talk about energy efficiency, Eric, I want you to first start and talk about what you do, because I believe you're the Residential Energy Efficiency Program Implementation Manager, and you work in partnership with Holly in implementing programs throughout Georgia Power around energy efficiency. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So talk about what you do, and then Holly, I'm going to have you follow up and talk about how you and Eric work together, and even how SEAL works in the programs that you implement around energy efficiency. So Eric.
Great, thank you. So my main role within Georgia Power is to work with Georgia Public Service Commission staff and to assist in creating basically residential energy efficiency program for Georgia Power customers. So my role as implementation managers, after these programs are created, I find ways to work with folks like SEAL to help administer these programs to Georgia Power customer base. So not only do I help with the creation of these programs, there are a multitude of programs that basically require several partnerships to implement. And so the delivery of those customers, the delivery of those programs to our customers is important in the way that we create those programs.
Okay. So, and then Holly, you jump in and you make sure you're working with Eric and make sure the programs are implemented and executed flawlessly.
Yes.
As I know you do.
Seamlessly.
And I like that word, seamlessly. Yes. So talk about what you do and talk about SEAL, because you're a minority business.
Yes, okay. So for starters, my name is Holly Spears, and our company is SEAL, Solutions for Energy Efficient Logistics. And what I am is account manager for client relations and business development. Georgia Power, of course, is one of our clients, and what we do is design the programs around the requirements of the utility to help them serve and reach those customers with cost-effective energy-saving programs.
So talk about something that's been implemented, a cost-effective program that's been implemented recently.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we just kicked off our energy assessment and solutions program.
Ooh, I like that assessment. Tell us what that does.
Oh, it is specifically designed for income qualified customers. So we have a host of other energy efficiency programs that may require customers to make an investment and also receive rebates based on those investments they may have made to improve energy efficiency around their home or small business or large business to that degree. But if customers are making that upfront investment, not all customers have the ability to do that. And so this program is specifically designed around those income restrained customers that may not have the resources up front to make the investments to make their homes more energy efficient or improve their livelihood based on that. So this program is really designed to do that for free. And so we will get input or recommendations for customers, and we will assess those customers based on that criteria, and we will actually show up, the SEAL team will actually show up and do an energy assessment of the home, come up with a list of recommendations, and also enlist a host of contractors to do the work. And so at the end of the day, we have customers that are much more comfortable in their home and have a much more efficient home, and point two, they can also afford to stay in those homes as a result of that.
And so talk about a little bit, what does an assessment, energy efficiency assessment entail? And what does that process look like? Because I think I like that. Because assessment, tell me more about that.
Okay, so an assessment is we go in and we do a whole home assessment. We see where there are efficiencies lacking or improvements that could be made. We may use thermal imaging to do that. We check your HVAC system. They'll check your lighting. We'll even directly install some energy saving measures for you. Water aerators, a thermostat. Smart thermostats, yes.
Smart thermostats?
That's right, smart thermostats, LED light bulbs. So those are instant savings for you, because if you're saving kilowatts, you're saving money.
And so typically, as a result of doing an energy assessment and making some changes, what types of savings do people typically see in terms of energy? What's something typical? Is it a 5%? Is it a 10%? What kind of savings can you expect from? You've done an assessment, and a typical customer.
Well, that can range from anywhere from like 5% savings up to maybe 25 to 30% savings based on the measures that we may do.
25 to 30%?
Oh, that's correct. So when you think about your HVAC system or your air conditioning system in your home, that's 50% of your energy usage for most customers. And so if you can gain some efficiencies just around that equipment alone, you can save quite a bit of money. And you think about the heat and the humidity in Georgia and running that AC system during peak times, that is a huge opportunity for savings for any customers. And then from lighting, switching from incandescent lighting to LED lighting, which is, just you save spend a fraction of the cost of that. So there are huge savings around just those two measures alone.
So
And each house is individual. That's what the assessment is for. So we also provide a report to the client that tells them where they can save. And also it kind of outlines like a percentage of the savings for those particular things that they may be receiving, from the light bulbs to the insulation, the weatherization. So there are many.
And the behavioral conversation. So it can really be counterintuitive to institute all those measures and changes without having a conversation with the resident as well and say, here's how you use these appliances. Here's how the smart thermostat works. Here are the recommended settings for that thermostat. Just because we pull in, you have an incandescent light bulb that you've been leaving on for a fraction of the day, and you install an LED bulb and you decide, it's a much more efficient bulb, I'll leave it on all night. That's not the behavior we want, because you start not to save those dollars again. And so it takes a little bit of conversation also with the customers to teach them how to use these technologies so they can maximize savings.
So as part of this assessment, you're providing education as well so that they can truly maximize their savings. The assessment, education, and then the tools or the technology to help. It's a total solution, actually.
Yes.
That is correct.
So when the auditors go out there, they're giving the consumer a constant education process. They actually walk through the assessment with the renter or the homeowner and explain what this means and what we can do and how you can improve.
Excellent. So when we come back, I want to talk, last month we had a little thing called Irma and hurricane. And so I want to talk a little bit about being prepared and checklists and some of those things, and then some of the products that Georgia Power or programs around protecting homeowners and small business owners around natural disasters. So when we come back, let's talk a little bit more about that.
Growth is an inherent part of any successful business. As your business grows, expanding the reach of your network becomes more critical and more complicated. The problem is, the global IT infrastructure can be a patchwork of different platforms and architectures with varying degrees of quality, security, and reliability. How can you expand your network's reach without exposing your global operations to risk? To achieve this, today's agile businesses are employing comprehensive threat intelligence solutions across networks and gateways to protect, detect, and correct. By turning to a robust network security solution, you'll be able to safely extend your network to global suppliers, partners, and customers. This will enable your business to quickly seize expansion opportunities while minimizing security risk, so you can be open to growth and secure from threats all at the same time.
And I'm back with Eric Arnold and Holly Spears as we talk about Energy Efficiency Month. And so we just talked about the assessment in doing your home. And so as you talk about assessments and we talk about, disasters as we had last month, is there any kind of a checklist for a small business or for a homeowner as they prepare for a natural disaster? What recommendations would you give around that?
I think the key word you mentioned is preparation. As one is staying informed. I think news media outlets do a great job in tracking storms in these situations. So first of all, just know the lay of the land in terms of what's happening with the storm and which directions it's going. But on top of that, the checklist really encompasses having a backup plan in case there are extended power outages and things like that. Keeping your cell phone charged in events that you still have energy or electricity to lean on, but in the event that electricity is not there, leveraging our social media platform, following Georgia Power on those avenues, we do a great job in keeping our customers informed in terms of power outages and just storm tracking and things like that. Also, batteries are always key, keeping opportunities for lighting, flashlights and things like that, or even for some matters, just having an alternative place to go in the event that there's devastation there. We do a great job in dispatching our crews and assessing damages, but as you know, with the magnitude of something like Hurricane Irma, we had extended outages, and sometimes it just takes time to dispatch crews, make damage assessments, and really figure out from a restoration process, what is it that we have to do to get the lights back on. And so always prepare for a worst case scenario, but at the same time, we do what we can to make sure that we get our customers back on as soon as possible. And so always just keep that checklist of batteries, again, cell phone charge, following us on social media, and then keeping up with the media outlets just to know the status of things going forward. And even things with food, I know customers are always concerned about spoilage and things like that. So one of the things you don't want to do is just go out and buy things that are going to spoil.
And I think that's the number one thing that people do. Once they raid the supermarkets and everybody stocks your refrigerator, and then you have a power outage. Right. And so you've got lots of food that's spoiled. Yeah, buy those things that have shelf life that you can eat day to day and not worry about those things in the event that you do lose power for an extended period of time. So that's a big one. And then if you have small kids, and obviously making sure that they can be cared for in those times, because one of the most challenging things that I heard as we were out doing assessments this time around, folks are saying, "Oh, my kids are out of school and they're energetic, they don't have enough to do," that kind of thing. They get some entertainment for the kids.
Oh yeah, and so you have to really plan those family events around board games. Reach back in time a little bit and create some of that. Right. You have to create that family atmosphere and start doing some things around hopefully not the candlelight, but those intimate moments that you really don't get to spend. So make plans for things like that.
Oh, I think great, Eric. Great, all suggestions. I think you gave some great suggestions for small business owners, for anyone, as you're thinking through and being prepared. And you could, out of that, could really develop your own checklist for that's customized and designed for your specific home, whether you have kids or you have the elderly, in terms of how you prepare and the things that you need to do. So that you're prepared in the event that things happen, because again, we're still in that season and things can happen anytime. So you always need to be prepared.
That's correct.
And what about in terms of automation or technology? Are there any kind of tools or from automation or technology that Georgia Power may have to offer that can support for the home in case of outages or anything around that area?
Well, just basically, keeping up with our the outage situation on GeorgiaPower.com, or either following us on social media. Those are real time communication opportunities for us to let customers know the status of certain things. So I'll say overall, those are the two most devices you can help yourself to keep up.
Okay. And so let's switch gears again and let's talk a little bit about the assessment again. And so I'm interested in having an assessment. Is there a cost for the assessment? How do I get an assessment? Do I have to register? Take me through that whole assessment process, because again, that's my ticket to saving money. You're driving money to the bottom line of a business and or a residential customer and or both. And so tell me, what's that process for the assessment and how do I get in that loop? Because that sounds like a good deal to me.
Right, I'll start and I'll let you pick up, Holly. First thing, our customers are always have access to a free home energy audit or an assessment just by going to GeorgiaPower.com, and they can fill out an assessment online and get some instant results or tips to help them save money and energy. If they choose to participate in one of our programs, if they're income qualified, and we go out and we do the assessment, which really entails taking equipment out there and setting up within the home. We do a thing called the blower door test, where we actually put this screen over your door with a big fan, and we take a suction on the home, for lack of a better term, just to figure out where all the leaky spots are in that home.
Oh, wow, I like that.
And then once we identify those leaky spots, we can seal them up. That way you've got less penetration of outside air in that home. So if it's a heating season, you don't want cool air infiltrating. If it's a warm season, you want to keep the cool air inside. So that assessment helps to do that. And then also the HVAC assessment, if you have a gas furnace or if you have a traditional air conditioning system, making sure that system is tuned up and running efficiently, and making sure too that you have no internal problems with that system that's costing you any energy from there. And then also the smart thermostat. I think one of the things that my wife loves when we went that route is I no longer have to get up to turn up or down the thermostat. You can do it from your smartphone. And so with the use of smartphones these days, it is a very easy convenience for people to keep up with energy use, especially if you've left the home and forgot to either reset or set back, and you can do it from your smartphone at that time as well. Do you want to add anything?
No, I think you covered it, but that smart thermostat. Can't get it out. That smart thermostat is one of the products that we'll be installing in the income qualified. And like he said, it gives you control over your energy usage. So let's say the weather drops and it gets cooler and you're running that air. That'll give you the ability to go in on your phone, on the app, and turn down your air. So, or it's gonna get hotter and you wanna have a certain comfort level when you get home. The weatherization aspect, the insulation, those are all things, yes, that
water
improve.
Heater blankets, you heat up hot water in a tank and you want that water to remain hot. So we also recommend the use of those blankets to make sure that warm water stays in until needed. And that way that water heater's not cycling on and off due to heat loss.
Great. All great suggestions. So when we come back, we're going to wrap up with some final words from both of you and some final tips and techniques on the number one things you see around energy efficiencies, that our small business owners can see and do to help them be more efficient. And then we'll get some last words from both of you. So we'll be right back. We're back, Energy Efficiency Month, and as we're closing, we're going to talk about the number one things that we see around being inefficient with our energy, and then some final tips on being more efficient. So let's start with you, Eric. And so what are the number one thing you see with being inefficient, and what are your recommendations on efficiency?
Well, one of the number one things we see as being inefficient is the lack of insulation in the home. One of the pieces of the assessments that we do when we do the home energy assessment is to look at insulation in the attic and sometimes the floor to make sure that that's adequate to keep the infiltration of outdoor elements from coming into the home. And the other one is just weather stripping and caulking around the house to create a tighter home to also prevent those outside airs to penetrate the home as well. So what you don't want is your AC system working harder when you're losing all of that conditioned air to the outside. So the idea on those is to first make the house tighter for it to begin to be more efficient from there. And then you start to work on some of the other internal components like the AC system, like the water heater, and the thermostat to add to that efficiency from those two measures.
Excellent. And Holly?
Well, did you say weather stripping? Weather stripping around the windows and around the door is another good one to put in place. I know you wanted to discuss tips and things for small businesses. I'd like to go into that if we can. Okay, so a lot of times small business owners don't think that there's viable solutions, cost prohibitive or viable solutions for them. And we just want to let them know that there is. An assessment is the first step. There are many small behavioral changes and measures that can be put in place. We actually offer a concierge service within our program, and what that does is we take and kind of handhold that small business, and we do the assessment and we design solutions for them applicable to their business, be it a restaurant, a cleaners, a hair salon, and that gives them education and things that they can do. And we also print out a list of things that they can do after we've done the assessment and done the direct install measures. There's rebates and incentives for upgrades. So there are many things that Georgia Power and we as implementers design these programs to deliver to the small businesses.
And lighting is a big part of small business as well. So if you can imagine the amount of lights that may be on in a business during working hours. So we make recommendations on them going to LED lighting to make that lighting a lot more efficient and a lot more cost effective for the business to run. And then installing heating and cooling system controls to help those systems run on a schedule versus when the building is empty and there's no people load, all those systems shutting down and operating more efficiently based on the time of day. And the other piece too, it's both great for the homeowner and business owners, smart strips. You've seen the devices which you plug the computer in that look like surge suppression devices. There are also devices that control power. So if you have a computer that's running all the time and you've got it plugged into one of these smart strips, it will actually shut that computer down after a certain usage. So computer load can be a huge opportunity to save energy as well. And so customers can also get those things on GeorgiaPower.com marketplace and get instant rebates on our website if they're Georgia Power customers. So that's a great opportunity to start.
Excellent. I want to thank both of you for the great tips and techniques for our small business owners. I think the first step is obviously that assessment. And I think, Holly, You can handhold small businesses. You can help. You can help them through that process,
Yes.
make and customize solutions designed specifically for them. Walking them through the entire process with the rebates and all of that. So I think Seal is a great option for any of them to consider as they look at being more efficient and saving money and driving that to the bottom line. Seal is a great investment.
Thank you.
So again, thank you both for being here. And I want to thank you, our listeners, for joining us for this edition of Let's Talk Small Business. And last but not least, our sponsors, for without you, this would not be possible. The Coca-Cola Company, Georgia Power, and AT&T. Thanks again. Until next time, let's talk small business.
If every marching band played my song and every choir sing along, then maybe we can change the world.
Let's Talk Small Business is brought to you by Georgia Power, the Coca-Cola Company, and AT&T.
And take a stand, yeah, then maybe we can,